All right, got some people on here?
We do. We got
All right.
a couple people.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking about the transformational process. This is how change happens. And this is real change, true change, lasting change. And I say that because there's a lot of change and transformation that's not real, it's more temporary. And that's not real change. I'm talking about, those things that we start to make changes in, whether it's in our relationships, in our career, in our health. Like, we know that we need to do something better. We're a little uncomfortable, or maybe we even have some crisis or some problems because of the lack of discipline or lack of consistency. So then what do? All right, well, man, I need to do something about this. I need to do something about this, my career, or the growth in my relationship, or my finances, or my spirituality. We start to see, like, you know what? I need to give some attention, some time, some energy into this because it needs to be better, right? So we get to those times. But a lot of times people are like, okay, I see it. I know I should be there when I'm here. So they start making those changes, and then next thing you know, they go right back to what they were doing before, and it's very discouraging for people. A lot of really good-hearted people live in this cycle, this cycle of okay, I'm going to do something. All right, I'm going to do it this time, right? They get pumped up and they get a vision board, and they start to tell people, and they get excited, and they start to go, and they're going, they're doing good, and then life happens. And life happens, relationship stuff, the issues, things happen, and it starts to it hits us, right? And we're like, okay, all right, let's keep going. And then boom, okay, let's keep going, and boom. And if we don't know how to deal with those things, our mind starts to, want to protect us and starts to hesitate, doing like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? We keep getting hit. Maybe we're going the wrong way, and we start to doubt. Fears come up. We start to hesitate, procrastinate. Now all of a sudden we're not being consistent on the things that we know we should be doing. And then this is the cycle that people live in. And after a while, after years of that, of like, okay, I'm going to try, and then, oh, I couldn't. Okay, I'm going to try, oh, no, I couldn't again. All right, this time I'm really going to do it. And then they couldn't do it again. That gets very discouraging to the point where people start to believe like, well, maybe I was just never meant to do it. Maybe I'm just broken, or maybe I'm too old or too young or whatever. We start to label ourselves for something to kind of give ourselves that excuse to stop trying, to be okay with under delivering, with doing just enough, with settling, doing enough just to get by. No. See, so it's really sad to see, because a lot of people are really good people. They have great dreams and they can really do it. They have the potential. They are good enough. They can do it, but they don't understand this system of what we are made up of, what this system, I'm going to show you right here, of why we do what we do. Start from the inside. This is where real change happens. So this is where immediate and long-term change happens. So I'm going to be sharing with you beliefs and values. This has to do with mindset. This has to do with, you knowing how to change things that you want to change and changing fast, okay? So beliefs and values. First, let me define, what is it? What is a belief? What is a value? So that we can start to build on that. Then I'm going to start to give you an explanation of your mind, how your mind works, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and how that produces your actions and then therefore results. And then I'm going to give you some practical examples of what you'll probably see in your life, or in the people that you love, or in your team. You'll see in your kids. You'll start to see certain results that they have in their life, or certain actions and behaviors and habits that they have, whether it's good or bad, right? And you'll know where they come from. So that way, if they are bad results, we know how to get better results by reverse engineering. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today on beliefs and values, how your mindset works, and then I'm going to give you some practical examples of how it comes out in your life. Okay, so here we go. Beliefs and values. Let's first define it. What is a belief? What is a value? We hear this all the time. We hear about mindset. We hear, you got to believe, right? You got to believe in yourself. Or when it's with your product or sales, you got to believe in your product. You got to believe in the company. You got to believe in the mission, right? You got to believe. What the heck is that? What is believe? Okay, to have faith. Okay, well, what is it? And where does it come from? Can we strengthen it? And are some beliefs maybe wrong? Maybe beliefs that are based on lies? And because of that, they're creating wrong emotions and wrong actions and wrong habits and creating wrong results. Could that be too? That's what happens. A lot of times, a lot of the beliefs that we're building our life and our future on are not good, strong beliefs. They're not beliefs that are in alignment with who we want to become. And because of just this is just how I grew up. This is how my dad and their dad was and my mom was, and this is just how it was. I was born like this. I grew up, this is just how I am. We just learn how to just kind of just accept it. We don't have to. If you don't like it, change it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So beliefs. This is where it starts, guys. Your beliefs is going to determine your success or your failure. Your beliefs is going to create stress or it's going to create peace. Like, your beliefs are so powerful. Your beliefs are your thoughts, right? They're the things, the rules and assumptions that we have created from our experiences of our past and on our current knowledge. Let me say that again, okay? What is a belief? Where do beliefs come from? Why do you believe what you believe? Why do I believe what I believe? Why? Because of what I grew up in, what my past was like. You know, what it was like for those who had most, influence over me, whether it was my parents or, siblings or people at school or friends. Like, all this mixture of my past, all the combination together of my experiences, the good and the bad, have created certain beliefs about what I believe when it comes to relationships, money, spirituality, God, myself, health, relationships, love, kids, like conflict, problems, like all these really important things in our lives. I have learned, my brain has been programmed from experience of my past. Just for an example, okay? So where do our beliefs and values come from, right? Let's picture this. Because we came from our mother's womb. We didn't have any beliefs. We didn't know anything. We had no knowledge. It was blank canvas, right? So then we're born and we're not really conscious yet. It's just kind of like, whoa, you know how when you barely get out of a dream or like something, like you're just like kind of out of it. You can't really put everything together. Like they're kind of like that. They don't have any recognition. They don't know what is what yet. But how do they start to learn? How do they start to create beliefs of their own? By watching, by observing, by experiencing. So as a little baby, let's say they're, the baby, you're just there in a high chair and you're sitting there and you're eating, or you're holding the baby right here and you're being held. Just picture yourself there. And then there was something simple as a loud noise in the room. Bah! Right? So the baby kind of hear the noise and the brain does not know what it is, doesn't have any experience of that, doesn't know if it's good or bad. So what does the baby do? Just bah! And then looks at you to see, what should I think about this? What should I believe about this? You're the one that I love and trust the most, and there is just this sound. I don't even know what a sound is yet, but there was something that got my attention. I don't know if it's good or bad, so I'm going to look at you to see your reaction, what you say, what you do, your facial expressions, your energy, because all of that's going to begin to teach me, to educate me if that was a good thing or a bad thing. And that's just on a little tiny example. Now you go into getting older of, okay, how to deal with conflict, how to deal with stress, communication. What is communication? Is it healthy? Like for me, communication was, I'm going to tell you something, and if you don't listen or if you talk back, I'm going to freaking yell, I'm going to hit you, or I'm going to throw something. For me, that's what communication was. So it's such a powerful thing to understand, okay, where did I learn that? So that way I can change it, especially the things that don't match. It's all right, it'll still good. So beliefs are rules, assumptions that we have created from our past experiences and from our current knowledge. Things that we're reading, things we're learning, things we're hearing from others, things we're experiencing now. Combined with that, our mind has developed beliefs. Now, what is the beliefs for? Beliefs are like, they guide us. They're like these rules that we have in our mind, and the mind is trying to protect you through those rules, through those beliefs. So if you have a belief that, hey, because of experience, that fire is hot, so you've created a very strong, certain belief that I know, that I believe that fire is hot. So now when you're around fire, your brain pulls up that information and says, hey, stay back, because that's going to create pain for you, protecting you, right? Or we've learned growing up, whether it's from our parents saying, hey, look both ways when you cross the street. Why? Because you're going to get hit by a car and you're going to die. All of a sudden you start to picture that in your brain. Your brain sees that and now creates a belief to protect you from the pain. That's what our brain creates the beliefs for. They're rules and assumptions to help guide us in life to protect us from pain. But this is the thing. A lot of beliefs, they're created from pain in our past, and they become more defense mechanisms, and they're things that are not helping us to succeed. For an example, for myself, growing up in my past, I started to believe that I'm shy. I started to believe that I'm not important, I'm not good enough, what I have to say is not important, or I also need to be perfect, because if I'm not, I'm going to get freaking beat. Okay? Because the way I grew up, my dad would beat me. And if I would mess up, I would get beat. If I would say something out of turn or out of place, I would get beat. So my brain started to create beliefs around, hey, if you say something out of place, you're going to get belief. That's just the cause and effect. If you do this, you get this. So my brain started to create beliefs about that, and I started to create mechanisms to protect myself from getting hurt. So what was that? I'm shy now. Let me just not say anything. Let me just accept this lie that I'm shy and just kind of be in the background and, not be out there. Now I'm introverted. So that, you see how these beliefs over time become like habits and behaviors, and it becomes a part of my identity. And they're not based on true things. Like, I don't need to be perfect. I do have something value to say. And just because my dad was broken and hurt me, doesn't mean that these beliefs are true. So many of us are living, doing things that are based off of these beliefs. And because we don't understand that they're there, because a lot of them are subconscious, I'll explain that right now, we just kind of learn how to live with it. We just think that this is how it is. This is how life is. And no, it's not. So what are beliefs? Rules, assumptions that we create from our past experiences and our current knowledge. That's what we create, okay? Now, what are the values? Now, a lot of times when I'm like, all right, what are values? We think morals and values, right? And yes, that's a part of it. But values are more attached to the emotional state that those things make you feel. So when I ask you, hey, what do you value? You're going to start to tell me, well, I value my time, or I value my family, I value my health, I value my car, my home, whatever is on your list of what you value the most. When I start to ask you why, you're going to say, well, because of this and this. Okay, why? And if I keep asking why, it's going to come down to the roots of how those things make you feel, or how that person makes you feel, or how those habits and behaviors that you have make you feel. If it makes you feel good, you're going to value it. And because your brain values it, it's going to have a belief that values it, so it's going to want to do things to get you to go towards it because it brings pleasure, it brings something that makes you feel good. But if it's something that you don't value, okay, even if it's good for you, like workouts could be good for you, but if you don't have a belief that says that and a value for it, your brain's going to want to get you to stay away from it. Even though it is good for you, your brain wants you to stay away from pain. And if you believe that workout equals pain only, you're going to come up with a lot of rights, reasons, and excuses not to freaking do it. And this is why so many people, they start and then they stop. They start and they stop because they don't get enough strong clarity in their beliefs and their values to create inward leverage for them so that they can keep pushing past the pain, because they have the right beliefs and values, they can see that this pain has purpose. This pain has purpose. It has good results and benefits and rewards for me as I push through it. So instead of focusing on the problem, I can see past the problem into the rewards. Now my brain starts to change its beliefs and values. Now I'm willing to go past the pain and the discomfort so I can get to the reward, because my brain sees that. That's how we bring real change, lasting change, because we got to get the beliefs and values to be in agreement so that we take consistent action. Because your beliefs, this is like your mind, your thoughts. Your values are like the emotions. Those two together are helping you to make decisions or not make decisions. Your mind and your emotions, which is a part of your soul, which is I'm going to get to a little bit. Your mind and your emotions, what you're thinking and how you're feeling about what you're thinking, is going to determine what kind of action you take. And the attitude that you're going to have as you're taking it. Right? So, beliefs and values. Okay, beliefs, rules, assumptions that we create according to our past experiences and current knowledge. Right? We use it to guide us, to protect us from pain. Now, values are attached to things that make us feel good, like rewards and pleasure. And our brain wants to protect us from pain and wants us to go towards pleasure. So we need to get these two in alignment in our brain. Otherwise, we're going to be divided. We're going to be like, I don't know, I'm thinking this, but feeling this. What do? I don't know. And you're constantly going to be having a hard time stressing yourself out on your decisions because there's no alignment. So how do we get this alignment, and how does this work? So you see this diagram right here in my cool drawing right here. So we have, this is a person. Picture this as me, right? This is the head. right here. So we got the top of the brain, the bottom of the brain. The top of the brain is the conscious mind. The bottom of the brain is the subconscious mind. I want you to think of like, what are those, the icebergs? The iceberg, right? The iceberg, what do they talk about? Like, oh, that's only the tip of the iceberg. What does that mean? Oh, that's just a very little of it. Like, this is not even half of it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Because the iceberg, the tip of it will be above the water, but most of the mass, the most of the weight, the most of the power was in the bottom because that was the tip of the iceberg. So the conscious mind is like only the tip of the iceberg. It's only a tip. So the biggest part, the most influential, the most powerful is actually the subconscious mind. Okay? So your mind is one that's causing your mind, your subconscious mind with your conscious mind together working is creating emotions in your body, and this is creating actions and behaviors that you're taking. So from the mind, this inward reality becomes outward reality. These become actions that you take. These are actions, habits, and behaviors, right? So from here become your actions. This causes actions. And then the actions cause results. And that's your life, your quality of life. It all starts in the inward reality. So the reality is your thoughts is your future, but it's in seed form. So we have to learn how to plant better seed in our subconscious and conscious mind. The seeds are planted in the subconscious mind. The conscious mind begins to work with those seeds because the beliefs that we planted in our subconscious mind, which is the soil, the really fertile soil. So we have to learn how to plant seed there. Okay? Not unconscious mind. Conscious mind is more of like the hard ground. Like it's hard to plant seed in hard ground. Subconscious mind is the most fertile soil in the universe. Like anything you plant there is going to grow, which could be really good or really bad. And this is why a lot of times people have bad habits, bad actions, bad behaviors, bad results, because they have this stinking thinking. They have messed up thinking. They have messed up beliefs, messed up values, and because of that, they have messed up life. So let's see how this works for us, because we have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, so we have to learn how to plant accordingly, because your brain is going to grow any seed that you plant. And then if you think about the law of seeds, this is a universal law, like the law of gravity, right? This is the law of the seed. Like any seed that you plant is going to produce after its own kind. If I plant an apple seed, it's going to produce an apple tree that produces apples and has seeds in it, and then it's so on and so on. It produces after its own kind. It'd be really weird to plant an apple seed and get an orange tree. It's not going to work. It doesn't happen like that, right? Because that's not the law. The universal law is that every seed produces after its own kind. So when you start thinking about your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and the thoughts that you're having, the stories that you're telling yourself, the beliefs that you're creating, those are seeds that you're planting, especially in the subconscious mind. It will grow. And every seed produces after its own kind. So if you're planting messed up, thinking, you're going to have messed up emotions and have messed up actions and messed up results. Okay? And your mind is not going to, it doesn't judge. Okay? Your mind is the most fertile soil. So whatever you plant there, it's going to grow. If I say, oh man, I'm so dumb. So dumb, so forgetful. Oh, so stupid. And then people are like, hey, Richard, don't say that to yourself. I'm just joking. Your brain doesn't know that you're joking. Your brain has no clue. So when you say jokingly or just fun, I'm just having fun, don't be so serious, Richard, just understand that your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is the most fertile soil. So when you're saying, oh, I'm dumb, I'm too old, I'm too weak, or I'm always hurting, I'm always sick, all these type of things, you're speaking power into existence there. So watch what you're planting, watch what you're thinking, because that is your future in seed form. So it's not going to say, oh, no, wait a minute. Don't plant this seed because Richard was just joking. No, he was just being sarcastic. No, stop, don't plant. No, it doesn't work that way. Whatever you plant, it's going to grow, and every seed produces after its own kind. So understanding that, it actually brings power to us, because if we want a better future, if we want better results, guess what? We know what we need to do. We need to have better actions, better behaviors, better habits, and in order to get that, we know we need to plant better seed. This empowers us because we like, wow, okay, reality check. I have responsibility for all my actions, for everything, my happiness, my financial freedom. Like, it's all my responsibility, right? So that's reality check. Number 2, wow, it's my responsibility. That's awesome. What an opportunity. And when I understand how growth goes, how change goes, and I know I need to start planting better seed, being more intentional in the seed that I'm planting, all of a sudden I have better emotions, better beliefs, better values. My actions and behaviors follow that. Instead of me trying to force it, it starts to follow it instead of me trying to force it. Because forcing and forcing and forcing it causes stress, and then I start to doubt, like, what am I doing this again? This doesn't feel good. And your brain, what? Starts to give you rights and reasons because it's creating pain. Okay? So plant the right seed, and it creates an inward, intrinsic momentum and motivation. For your brain starts to communicate to the rest of your body now, your nervous system, your emotions, which creates action with your will to have better behaviors and habits. So let me give you a real practical example now, okay? So beliefs and values and how we need to plant better seeds in our mind so that we can have better emotional state, we can have better actions, better results in our lives. Any change. So let's get real practical now. That's the concept, right? That's the overview. Now, when it comes to beliefs and values, let's talk about these 3 things right here, okay? It's the same thing as this diagram, but I'm going to explain it differently. So in the diagram, it's mind, and then that turns into your actions, and then your results, right? So over here, we have our mind, which is a part of our soul. Your soul is your mind, emotions, and will. Okay? So we have our soul, which is part of our mind, and then that creates our, what? Our actions, which is our habits, behaviors, and capabilities. And then that creates our results, which is the quality of our relationships, our health, our career, our business, our life. Okay? So let me say that again. So it starts from our soul. Okay? There's a proverb that says, as you prosper in your soul, you will prosper in the rest of your life. So prosperity of the soul creates prosperity of life. If you want more prosperity in your life, you got to get it here first. So your soul, what is your soul? Mind, emotions, and will. Mind, emotions, and will. You got these 3 things right here, right? To go together. 3. Mind, emotions, and will. They need to be working together in the same agreement, in the same direction, so you are creating momentum for yourself. Power. Mind, emotions, and will. Your mind is your thoughts. You being analytical, thinking. Your emotions is how you feel, right? The energy that's running through your body. And because of what you're thinking and how you feel, you're going to create an action with your will. Mind, emotions, and will. That's where you decide to do something about it or not do something about it. Mind, emotions, and will. Now, the goal is to have our mind, emotions, and will in agreement. But a lot of times we have issues, pains, undealt with issues from our past. And it causes a fracture. A fracture. Instead of together, it fractures our soul. Right? So now our mind, our thinking is going this way, and how we feel about it is different. So it creates this stress, this division, this chaos, this hesitation. I'm not sure, this uncertainty, this doubt, this unbelief, because it's fractured. Right? So we want to bring healing. We want to bring wholeness into clarity, bring quiet down into this in our soul. A lot of people have a bunch of noise because of this undealt with pain. So we have our soul, mind, emotions, and will. 3 parts. Our actions, our soul creates our actions. What are our actions? Our behaviors, our habits, capabilities, right? So from our soul comes our actions. And then from our actions comes our results. What are our results? The quality of your relationships, your financial life, your spiritual life, of everything. It's of your life. It determines the quality of your life. So look, this is real practical now. In your soul, if you have undealt with issues, undealt with pain. Let me get another color here. So, right here, this diagram, there's 3 circles. Okay? The outward one is the body. Then we have the soul, and then the spirit is right here in the middle. So you are a spirit that has a soul that lives inside of a body. Okay? Now, when we have issues from our past, maybe we were bullied, right? Or we were neglected, or there was some kind of injustice and pain, some type of abuse maybe. One of the 5 forms, right? There's sexual, mental, emotional, verbal, physical abuse. Like maybe it was one of that, or somebody just called you a name, or there's so many different things that impact us. Pain is pain, whatever level. We all have our story. We all have our past pain. Now, if we don't deal with that, if we have undealt with pain, these wounds in our soul, those become the triggers. Those become the buttons that life and people push that our brain thinks, oh, there's something wrong, there's going to be pain again, protect this, because these are wounds. These are undealt with pains, but in the soul. So kind of like imagine this. If I had a physical, really bad cut right here, right, on my right hand, and somebody said, hey, Richard, how are you doing? They go to shake my hand. What am I going to do? Am I just going to go, hey? No, I'm going to protect that pain. My body knows if I go and shake their hand, that's going to freaking hurt. So my brain's going to say, no, don't shake the hand. I'm going to come up with something else. I'm going to avoid that because my brain wants to avoid pain, right? So my brain, whenever I have pain somewhere, it's going to create a mechanism to protect me from getting hurt like that again. That's on the outside. Same thing in the soul. So if I have been hurt in my past, if I've been abused or said something, whatever, my brain starts to create some defenses around it. It can be anger. So if you say something, do something that reminds me of some undealt with pain that I have, and then my brain says, uh-oh, they're gonna hurt you again. Remember, they're gonna hurt you again. So then you pull up some kind of weapon, some kind of something to protect yourself. Sometimes people use anger. So if I feel scared, which is the real thing, I feel scared, so all of a sudden I start to do what? I'm scared, so what do? I'm going to bring up anger. And anger says, I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. So I'm going to yell, I'm going to throw things, I'm going to raise my voice and my volume and my body language so that way I can intimidate you so that you can get scared and back up because I just want to feel safe again. Anger just says, I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me because I'm scared. That's a defense mechanism. You know, there's so many different defenses, fears. There's anxieties, there's addictions, there's procrastination. These are all different, these negative habits and behaviors. Those are symptoms of real problems, these undealt with pains. So when you and I have undealt with pain from our past, from anything, any level, okay, pain is pain. Those become things in our soul that life and people trigger, and our brain pulls up defense mechanisms, and they're not healthy. You know, we get defensive, we get stubborn, we get, you know, we react, we get sarcastic, or we get aggressive, we get passive aggressive, we have addictions, we get depressed, we have guilt, you know, we deal with anger and anxiety, all those negative emotions that people deal with, that you and I deal with. That's coming from somewhere. It's not because you were born that way. It's not because other people are making you feel like that. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody can make you angry. It's your decision. It's how you choose to react or respond to the situation that's happening. And if you have some wounds that haven't been dealt with, those are buttons, and it's really hard to keep, you know, clear and order in your mind because you're scared. And if we don't know these things, if we're not aware of them, they're going to control our lives. They're going to continually create those negative habits and behaviors in your life that are creating messed up results. So how do we change this? So instead of focusing on these bad things, because if we focus on, you know, a lot of times people try to change these negative habits, and it gets very discouraging, and because they can't. It doesn't change from the inside, so they're trying, and then they default to how they do it again, and they get so tired, they get so broken. You know what happens? Look at the results that it creates. It breaks relationships. There's divorces. It breaks up homes, messed up health, sickness, and diseases because of the stress. People are mentally scattered, dealing with mental illness and different things of just the stress. People are dealing with low self-esteem, and because of that, they're not taking action. They don't have the life that they really want to create. And because of that, their career is a disaster. All the life, all the most important things in their life, they're struggling. They're failing. Why? Not because that's just, you know, God created them that way. No, we are all created to win. It's just we need to understand how this goes. So if you want to change, if you want to get out of broken relationships, if you want to avoid those things, those bad results, what do we need to do? We need to have better, more positive actions, right? More better habits, capabilities, behaviors. We need to raise the quality of those. And how do we do that? Just by mere force and okay, I'm going to be better. I'm not going to be angry. I'm going to bite my lip. I'm not going to be mad. Oh, yay, I won. I didn't yell at them. That's not victory. Just self-control from outside, that's not victory. That's not peace. We want real change from the inside, and that happens right here dealing with the soul. In the soul. So what do? If you have some issues in your past, some things that you need to deal with, you need to face it. That's step one. Face it. Be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, well, about the pain, about the behaviors and things that you're doing that are not healthy. Freaking face it. Like, okay, I have this problem. I have this negative issue. I have this weakness. I have this fault. I have this failure. Okay, let me just face it. Not blame anybody. Take full responsibility. Now that I have done that, I need to heal these wounds in my soul. How do I do that? Through forgiveness. This is erase it. How do I erase this right here? See how I'm erasing this? How do I erase these wounds in my soul? I do it through forgiveness. So those people who have hurt you, said things to you, neglect, whatever, all those, the pain that we're talking about that caused those wounds, and it's not to blame them, it's not to make yourself a victim, because you're not a victim, and it's not to blame them, but it's about, hey, these things are impacting me. They are influencing me, and I need to change what's not good and keep the things that are good. So I need to heal from these things. So I know that these habits and these behaviors, these beliefs came from these experiences, these people, from what happened. So whatever caused pain, whoever caused pain, I want you to think about them. Even right now. Maybe somebody hurt you, hit you, abused you. I mean, I've dealt with people who were molested, who were raped, who were beat, who were abandoned, who were orphaned, who were put in foster care, who were beat, who were in gangs, like so many different stories, and it doesn't have to be that extreme. It could be your friend called you dumb when you were little, and that really hurt. Pain is pain. So think about those people who, right now, I'm sure you're even thinking of stuff. So think about that and see their faces. Picture their faces. And I'm going to ask you this question. If those people, it doesn't give them excuse, okay? But if those people knew who they were, if they knew their value, if they had self-love, if they had purpose in their life, would they have done that? Would they have treated you that way, or the people that you love that way? Would they have talked to you that way? Probably not, right? If they knew how loved they were, if they knew their value, if they knew their purpose, if they had self-worth and self-confidence, they wouldn't be acting like that, because the truth is, broken people break others. Hurt people hurt others. So having this type of mindset and understanding will help you to forgive those people who hurt you, because they were hurt themselves. And again, it doesn't make it okay. Doesn't mean you need to go be best friends with them now, but this helps you to forgive, because that is how you start to erase those wounds, so that you can better the seeds in your mind and subconscious mind, because you're not always defensive and protecting yourself from getting hurt, so that you can have healthier thoughts, healthier emotions, so you can have healthier actions and better results in your life. So face it, and then erase it through forgiveness, and then replace it through keep developing yourself, your mind, your emotions, your different capabilities to better yourself with your mindset, with your beliefs and values. Keep developing, that's the replacing. Keep strengthening yourself in your soul, in your mind, in your physical body, in every area, to help you to master your life. So again, how does real change happen? From the inside out, not the outside in. It starts with the beliefs and values. Getting those to be in agreement and alignment, so that we can start to speed up the process of our growth, knowing that our results come from our actions. The actions come from our conscious and subconscious mind. So we need to plant better seeds in our mind, in our thinking. Before we go to bed, as we wake up, throughout the day, start to visualize, see yourself, what do you want to create? Tell your brain, this is what we're going to do. Don't ask your brain, don't get permission, tell your brain, program your brain, visualize by planting the seeds in your mind of look, this is what we're going to do, this is the kind of relationship we're going to have, this is the kind of health we're going to have, this kind of business we're have. Visualize with detail, with clarity, as much detail as possible of I'm talking about, okay, today when I wake up, I'm going to wear this, I'm going to look like this, these are the actions I'm going to take, this is the words I'm going to say, details. The more clarity, the more detail your brain has about the actions you need to start to take to get those results that you want, the more clarity your brain has, the more courage you'll have to start taking that action, and the more action you have, which is consistency, that's where you get the results that you want. Any area that you are lacking in your life, it's because of lack of consistency. And so many people lack consistency because of brokenness in their soul. So beliefs and values, let's get some change. This is where it starts, guys. Inward reality will define and determine your outward reality. Boom.